Lanre Amu practiced law amid corruption in Cook County, Illinois. He was taught an ethics class in law school to report corruption, or it was an ethics violation. Adhering to that code of ethics he learned in law school led to the suspension of his law license, and it's an example of the unfettered power that judges wield in this country. Welcome to PA Voter Information Network. This is Larry DeMarco, your host. Do you watch my YouTube channel but haven't subscribed yet? Why not now? It's easy and free. Just click the red button and the bell right beside it, and you will be notified of all new content. This is part one of a two-part series illustrating corruption at the local county level. Lanre Amu is an attorney who ran into corruption in Cook County. How corrupt is Cook County, Illinois? The county is so corrupt that CBS ran a 7-season blockbuster hit, The Good Wife, on its corruption. It's so corrupt that former Governor Rod Blagojevich was famously caught on tape boasting about the ability to sell former President and Senator Barack Obama's Senate seat. He bragged it's solid gold. If I can't sell it, I might as well keep it myself. Lanre Amu criticized judicial rulings during his time as an attorney, and he called it corruption. And he was careful as to where and when he said it, and he said it with scathing criticism on 4 occasions where it hurt him and his clients. This is what happened to him.
The lady at the other end at the Illinois Supreme Court told me in no uncertain terms that an order was entered on that day that I must stop practicing law immediately. I couldn't believe it. On that day, I represented over 200 clients. I have not done anything that I could tell within my conscience would warrant such drastic action taken against me. What was the reason? Essentially, the reason is that they claimed that I made false statements concerning the integrity of judges in 4 complaints that I filed within a 9-year period. And as a person of conscience, if something happens that you believe that this really should not be happening because it's not in the best interest of the people of Illinois, there is an obligation and there is a duty to make a record of it, to report it to someone. Or I made a complaint to the chief judge, or I made a complaint to the Judicial Inquiry Board. In essence, it's a way for the system to shut you down. I mean, and I said, what do you mean I'm lying? Why are you there? So in a nutshell, that is why I am in the situation I am in. As at today, no lawyer, no judge ever filed a complaint against me saying I made a false statement. I was suspended for 3 years on the basis that I made false statements concerning 4 judges whom I accused of corruption. Mind you, the judges were aware of my statements because it would be unfair of me to write statements about the judge and not give the judge so the judge can rebut what I'm saying.
Okay.
Each of those statements I gave those judges, and they never said anything. I subpoenaed the judges and the lawyers that were there concerning the incidents I wrote about.
Okay.
The 7 justices of the Illinois Supreme Court quashed my subpoena, saying that I cannot have the judges whom they said I am making false statements about come and testify under oath as to my statements and tell me whether or not my statements are false. But the issue is my statements are the truth. They cannot face me. And believe me, judges are powerful. And they know their power. if I make a false statement against a judge in Cook County, I will be sanctioned. I can be jailed. The judge can sue me for defamation. None of these things. I never went into a courtroom to engage in name calling. I have never abused any person. Other than I went into a courtroom, I saw corruption taking place, and I said, well, this is not right. And as a person of conscience, I wrote down the complaint.
Good.
And I passed it on to authorities.
Okay.
Clearing my own involvement, clearing my own conscience, that somebody should have some responsibility to deal with this.
Okay.
And in return, I get slapped in the face with a complaint lying against a judge. In similar cases in which lawyers have been accused of making false statements against a judge, where the judges know that they are not exposed, they do come in to testify.
Okay.
And in my letter to the Illinois Supreme Court, my letter dated June 16, 2014, I gave 2 cases there in which judges actually came in flesh and blood. In my case, they chose not to appear because they didn't want to embarrass themselves, expose themselves to prosecution. The lawyers also moved to quash. But what's the basis for quashing the lawyers? The Illinois Supreme Court quashed all of the lawyers, all of my subpoenas to the lawyers for the same thing. There is no, and in this case, there is no immunity saying that a lawyer cannot come and testify to what happened in his or her presence.
Okay.
In defending myself, I subpoenaed the judges and the lawyers to come and testify on the oath. But you see, what they are doing is they are avoiding taking the oath at all. At the trial, I was the only witness. I left the 2-day hearing thinking that this was over, that the matter was going to be dismissed. I didn't know what I was in for. 6 months later, I opened my mail.
Surprise.
To get the result saying that they had a 38-page boilerplate. They just take these things, saying that I made false statements concerning the integrity of these 4 judges over a 9-year period, and that they are afraid that I'm going to continue to do that, and that I should be suspended from the practice of law for 3 years. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Judicial Inquiry Board.
Okay.
That's supposed to be a board in which if something is going on, you think there's a misconduct or corruption,
You call it to the
involving
attention.
a judge,
Yeah.
you file a complaint with the Judicial Inquiry Board.
Okay.
If you file a complaint concerning these types of matters with the Judicial Inquiry Board in Illinois, you're simply wasting your time. The complaint, most of the complaints eventually end up in the waste paper basket.
You may call him naive, but if you take a legal ethics class and you watch the extended version of this interview, he took all the steps that he was supposed to take before making any public statement. He wrote the administrative and chief judges. He filed appeals. He made complaints to the judicial inquiry boards. The chief judge and the administrative judge said that they had no power to help him. The appellate judges just affirmed his appeal with a rubber stamp without any thoughtful appellate review. And the Judicial Inquiry Board just dismissed his inquiry without any investigation. In good conscience, Lanre Amu issued a public statement to attempt to correct the corruption. It was the only thing he felt he could do in good conscience, and it led to his suspension of his law license. This has been part 1 of a 2-part series. Stay tuned for part 2, where Lanre Amu gives one of the 4 examples of when he criticized one of the 4 judges. If you like this episode, please Forward this link to all the friends on your contact list and Facebook friends. Click the like button and leave comments below. I would love to hear your feedback. I am signing off. Tune in next time. Bye for now.